Our very final entry for this unit is on angles of polygons. And the activities for this one I think are really cool, both the interior angle activity and then the exterior angle activity. First we're going to talk about the interior angles. So the sum of the interior angle measures of a polygon with n sides is given by the formula s equals n minus 2 times 180. Now, it might be kind of hard to see, but I put the sum and s in red, and n is actually in blue, just so you can see that the variable n, right, this is what we're substituting in for, okay, and it's showing up a little better now. In your packet, you should have got this handout. How we're going to use it is this is going to be our first example, and then this will be our second example, and then you'll do these on your own problems 3, 4, and 5. Then we'll have one more example that'll be written in the book that uses another key idea, and then you'll do these two on your own problems right there. So example 1 is a relatively simple example. We're going to find the sum of the interior angle measures of this school crossing sign. Now what you learned in your in the activities packet is that you can actually make triangles in this polygon. So here's a triangle, here's a triangle, so we've got 3 different triangles. Each triangle has 180 degrees in it, so we must do 3 times 180, and that would give us the sum of those angles. Now we can also do it with the formula. So we know that's 180, this is 180, this is 180. If you add them together, we would get the sum of those angles. But using the formula, let's see what happens. So S equals, now how many sides does this school crossing sign have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5, take away 2, and we multiply it by 180. And I keep doing the math out, so that's S equals 3 times 180, 3 triangles, okay. And then finally the sum of the interior angles of that school crossing sign is going to be 540 degrees. Okay, so that's just an interesting introduction to finding the sum of interior angles for a polygon. What we're going to do next is actually use the fact that we know what the sum is and put some algebra in there. In our next example, we're given a polygon and we're asked to find the value of x for this interior angle measure. Now in order to find x, we have to know what all of those angles are supposed to add up to. For that, we're going to use the formula s equals n minus 2 times 180. So we count how many sides this polygon has. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So x equals 7 minus 2 times 180. 7 minus 2 is 5. So we have 5 times 180, and then 5 times 180 is 900. So the sum of these angles should add up to 900. Now, that's not answering the question, though. It says find the value of x. So what do I have to do? Well, I know what all these other angle measures add up to, so I simply have to make an equation. X plus 128 plus 130 plus 120 plus 115 plus 145 plus 140 should equal 900. Now, if we have 7 sides, we should have 7 angles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I know I've counted correctly. And after combining those like terms and adding those up, we get x plus 778 is equal to 900. Subtract the measure of all those angles, and you get x equals 122 degrees. So now we've found the measure of that angle, we found the value of x, which is 122. On the left side of the entry, you're going to do these 3 on your own problems, numbers 3, 4, and 5. So if you want to label them 1, 2, 3, you're more than welcome to. They just say 3, 4, and 5 here. Our next key idea for angles of polygons has to do with the exterior angles. So the exterior angles of a polygon always add up to 360 degrees. And it's one of my favorite activities from this whole unit is when you actually draw out a figure and you take those external angles, like you're cutting out y, z, w, and x. You cut those out, and when you piece them together, they should make a circle. Okay, so it doesn't matter how many sides you have. The bigger your polygon is, means the angles are going to be larger, and that makes the exterior angles smaller, which means that there's going to be more exterior angles, but they're going to be smaller, and they're still going to add up to 360 degrees. You could have a 1,000 sided polygon. Those exterior angle measures are still going to add up to 360 degrees. So it's a really, really cool geometric property. And we're going to use that property with this example problem here. So we have this triangle with exterior angles x plus 10, x, and 90 degrees. And we are asked to find the measure of the exterior angles. So that's our goal. Well, I know from what we just talked about that no matter how many sides this polygon has, those exterior angles are always going to add up to 360 degrees. So my solution is to simply write an equation where x plus 10 plus x plus 90 is equal to 360. Now, the number one mistake that students make with this entry, or with this lesson, is that they think, okay, exterior angles, we're talking about polygons, that must mean that I have to use this formula. No. Okay? This formula is for interior angles. Okay? Because the more sides you add, the bigger these angle measures have to be to close itself. And that means that this formula is going to change depending upon how many sides there are. It's not always the same number. Here, those interior angles, they get bigger when we add more sides on, but that means the exterior angles get smaller, right? So you see these exterior angles, this has 4 sides, are smaller than these ones, but they're all going to piece together to the same amount, which is 360 degrees. So just be very, very careful that you don't confuse these two, because it's very easy to do. They're very similar problems. We talk about interior, we talk about exterior. Okay? Let's keep going with this problem. We can combine like terms here. So we have 2x plus 100 equals 360. Subtract 100 from both sides, and you have 2x equals 260. Divide by 2, divide by 2, and x equals 130. So, what are the exterior angle measures? It's not just x equals 130, right? We're not finished. So I want you to show that in a different color. We're not finished, right? We have to find the measures of all of those exterior angles. It's not just x equals 130. We have to actually put in x and figure out what they are. So we know one of them is 90, so 90 degrees. The next is just x, so 130. And the third one is x plus 10, so 140. And in fact, when I add 90 plus 130 plus 140, it should give me 360 degrees. On the left side of the entry, you're going to do these two practice problems. Find the measure of the exterior angles of each polygon. Have your teacher check these two problems. Make sure they've checked these three problems. And then you can move on to the practice page that goes along with this section.